Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Welcome to the 169th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Slammin' Andrew Norman, my man from West Virginia.
You already know.
The state of lovers, or the lovers state, right?
Virginia's for lovers, yep.
Virginia's for lovers, that's right.
That's it, man.
So, what do lovers do? Well, today's topic is caring. And lovers care. Would you share what this means to you, Andrew, and why you were doing cartwheels all the way into your room to discuss this here today?
I was literally doing cartwheels on my way in here, man. I was born in the state of lovers, and lovers care. We care about people. It's a beautiful thing to be able to care about people today, and to be able to receive care from other people. It's a spiritual principle. If you haven't heard, it is a spiritual principle. It's one of the many that we learn to incorporate into our lives here in this program, Milan. But it's super important to me, man. When I came into these rooms, I didn't really know, obviously I thought I was, I did some caring in my life, but it was all, in that wrong, I was wrapped up in my addiction. So all that caring and everything I was putting effort towards this word was all for naught. I was going backwards. And to be honest, I didn't care about myself. I didn't give a shit about myself. I was so beaten down, man. I was so beaten down. I was so, I had given into the fact that that's where I was and that's where I was going to be until whatever happened, because I was not in control anymore. That's how beat down I was. And so caring almost felt like a weakness. People cared for me to pull me out of my depths, and that word was almost had like a weakness attached to it, and then, you get clean, get a couple days under your belt, right. And you start, you get into, you realize you want to survive, right. And part of surviving is people caring for you. And then when people care you out of this thing and you're in a better position to be able to care for yourself, and then turn around and care for other people. That's kind of what this thing is about. It's one of the strongest forces that we have today, is being able to care for another person. It's a principle that changes how I live. Bro, I live a completely different way because of this word. It's changed how I love. It's changed how I recover. It's changed everything. So caring, bro, like in simple terms, caring is love in action for me. It is that love that I give out in these meetings and in day-to-day life. It is that, it's informed, me caring and showing, being, caring for other people and caring for myself is showing myself self-love. It's showing other people love. Being able to show up for someone, when I say I'm going to show up for somebody, concern for other people, it means I'm willing to put effort into my relationships today. It's not about the transaction. It's no longer what people can give me so that I care for them so that they can give me something. It's not about that anymore. It's literally about the opposite of that. I'm not worried about what people are doing for me. I'm just doing it because I know it's keeping me alive. Like when I'm caring for you, I'm doing something out of a caring nature for you. This is part of my recovery now. It's a vital part of my recovery now. Like, love without action is incomplete, Milan.
That's and faith without works is dead.
Is dead. Willingness without action is fantasy. We got all these little terms, man. But like compassion, empathy, love, service, honesty, it ties into all those other spiritual principles. All of them. It ties into all of them. And so when you can act in a caring way, compassion is just elevated, right? Empathy is elevated. Love is elevated. Service is elevated. You're not just there. You're not just punching a time clock. You're doing it you're caring about that person when you're doing it. So it's a beautiful term to kind of jump off into a lot of really beautiful discussions. So that's why I kind of threw that one out there today. I'm glad you chose this one, my man. I love you very much. I care a lot about you. But when I break free of my old self-centered patterns, that's when I can care about other people. I can actually take this word and use it and put it in my tool belt and actually use it tactically. But I care about people, man. I love everybody, bro, because we help each other recover, right? In one way or another, everybody in this fellowship is helping me out in one way or another. If I've come across you in one way, if you've been in a meeting, you're just listening in our meeting, you've seen me one time in a meeting, you have helped me. You've been a service to that meeting. And so it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And you're a big deal, man. I love you.
You're a gigantic deal. You're huge in my mind. Okay. You know, this one, this one kind of was interesting to do a little research on. I found, because essentially, it is love in action. And we talk a lot about love on this, and so, it's like you really hit on it when you're talking about the concern, the compassion, the love for ourselves and others. Like, I didn't have a level of self care. Like, what I thought was self care was making sure I had enough drugs for the day. And that was that was really like slow medically assisted suicide. In addiction, right? Like, it's indifference and self obsession, and the only way to get free from self obsession is through that caring, and that concern that we have for others, like, it's so important for, like, if you are worried about why you're not doing well, you're not caring for others at that moment. You are not being of service in that moment. Like, uh, I had a really good conversation in a step working group we were in yesterday. And one of the questions that everybody kind of, we all shared on a bunch of questions. And it was like, can you see how, being self centered, it's impossible for you to think your way out of being self centered?
Yeah.
Because,
You got you there.
yeah.
You're the one that got you there.
Well, but it's also like, if I'm thinking about me being self-centered, I'm literally centering on myself. Like,
Yeah,
like it's
sure.
it's just like, it's like a road that every time you go, it
Yes.
just slings you back to the center of the
Yes.
circle.
Yep.
And so the way to break that cycle is to externalize it, And I mean, like, they say that in AA, it's like love and tolerance is our code, right? And caring is like action, and it's the spirit of our action, and it's like freedom that we get from this program becomes service, and how that service becomes love is through caring.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
All right.
and so I think, really, even, like, I don't think my focus was on caring. I think my focus in addiction was on, like, maintenance that appeared like caring, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's got an element of genuine love in it. And I think we're going to have awesome questions. I think, I want to leave that there and
Hmm.
just jump right into the questions, because I think more will be revealed.
I want you to say that's our equation there. What was that equation
Okay.
again?
Okay. So, like, caring being action,
Uh-huh.
and the spirit of that action, we have freedom that becomes service, and now that service becomes love through caring.
And the only way to keep it is to give it, right?
the,
That's beautiful.
the,
That's
the
so
very
beautiful, man.
nature of service,
That's so
right?
beautiful, man.
you
That's so
know
beautiful. All right, man.
and
So this is your first question. How has the spiritual principle of caring changed the way you view yourself today, Milan?
well, somebody was at a meeting and they said, I believe that we're all like little diamonds in here, And all this beauty and purity can shine from us, but we got to polish off that diamond. And you know, like caring has helped me see myself as a precious miracle again. You know, as in something that I want to cherish, care for, and really like not just say care for. Like, I mean, you know, getting my rest, doing my exercise, eating my food, keeping my, you know, my daily reprieve through my spiritual condition, right? Like, there's so much that goes into making sure I'm delivering a better me these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that just wasn't there before. You know, you were lucky to get a flipped over 3 day old Milan. You know, I was like an old bag of day old donuts. Like I was on the reduced
Bag of
rack
Dusty Spuds? Bag of Dusty Spuds,
well,
Derby?
no, that one's Bryant entirely
Oh, okay.
because
Oh, I heard that
he's got
somewhere.
like those sort of canvas pants on that the dust comes through the grab.
I know I heard that somewhere before. I didn't know if it was you or who
Yep,
that
no, no,
was.
no, no, I can't steal that from old Spud bag.
DSB.
Yeah.
That's funny. I love that guy. I love him, man.
Yeah,
Love him.
shout out to the dustiest
Shout
Spud
out.
bag we'll ever love.
Dude, he's the best Iceman I've ever seen in my life, bro. That's
Yeah.
the best dude ever. Shout out. So yeah, you are you done? I didn't mean to cut you off, big dog.
No, no, that was literally the end.
Yeah, yeah. So how has the spiritual principle of caring changed the way I view myself? Well, like the truth was like I really didn't care, you know, I was wrapped up in my disease and I thought what I was doing was the right things, but I was just trying to survive, you know. And I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about me or other people. Um, so when you know, my actions scream neglect, right? Like I think about my actions at that point early on. They scream neglect, right? Like that's kind of what I had written down. I didn't care about my health, even my health. I didn't care about my future. I didn't care if I lived or died. You know, there were days where I wanted my disease to take me out, right? And I talk about this, like my disease buried me on a daily basis, it killed me on a daily basis and it never buried me. And that's a hell of a place to be in where that shit kills you every day, but you don't get, it doesn't allow you to go out. So you don't get any relief from it. You know, that's a tough place to be, man. That's a tough place to be. So, um, there's a time in my life where I couldn't look in the mirror anymore. Um, you know, I hear this a lot in the rooms where people talk about not being able to notice who they are. When you look at yourself in the mirror, there's a time and a place where you look at yourself and you either can't look at yourself or what you're looking at, you don't recognize it. And I remember the shame that I felt when that hit me, right? And when I saw myself that way and I treated myself that way, it was the opposite of what this word is, right? I was anti-caring. It was the anti, man. I was not caring for myself. I was not only not caring for myself, I was killing myself. You know, it was what is it? Self-destruction disguised as survival. Um and it's tough, man. It's tough because once you're in it, if you don't have people that are going to help you out or you don't have somebody spotting the certain things, you're either going to get thrown in jail, you're going to hurt somebody, hurt yourself, and thrown in a hospital, or even worse. Like that will happen. No doubt. Like if you're an addict and you continue to use drugs, we only have a few options. And it's crazy cuz people come here and they go back out and then those options they show their face, man. They will show their face eventually. One way or another. Jails, institutions, or death, man. Bro, I choose none. Um, and so when I came here and I started talking about, you know, people let us love you till you learn how to love yourself, you know, learn for caring, you know, and learning to care for myself eventually. You know, it sounded selfish at first. You know, I don't know if you could relate with that, but I thought about like that word and for caring for me, for myself, even at the beginning, felt like a selfish act because I didn't feel like I deserved anything. I wasn't doing anything right. Why do I deserve any of this? Right? Like I've been lying, cheating, stealing, using drugs, just doing the wrong shit. So, um, you know, at first, you know, like physically, you know, caring, you know, knowing that, you know, I matter, man. bro, I matter. Just like you said, like I'm worth being here. Like I'm worthy of this thing. And then on top of that, I can kind of grow and become the man that I want to be now on my own terms. Because now it's up to me. You know, it's up to me now. Um, y'all carried me back to life, right? And so now it is now on me to take what y'all gave me and run with that. And we just talked about it. How do we keep it? But we got to give it. What are we doing right now? We're on a podcast, not only helping ourselves, but maybe somebody might tap into this and it might get them out of their own head for a day or whatever, man. If you're getting any relief out of this podcast, bro, like it's how we're going to keep it. This is why we do this thing. You know, this caring word, man, it really elevates all these other beautiful things that we incorporate into our lives, all these other beautiful mainstays. When you talk about like spiritual principles, caring, this word, man, just really elevates them all. And so I got off on a little bit of a tantrum, but I'll pass that. That's my answer, man. I love you.
I love you too. So, caring is love in action, not sentiment in words. How has recovery taught you to care through actions rather than just feelings?
Wow. Well, I care. So I think about this, like when I care, when I care about myself, how I do that. I work the steps. You know, that is a caring, loving act. Me working the steps for myself, even though it might be uncomfortable a little bit, especially if you've never worked steps before. You know, it's at the point now where it feels good working steps. Like it's like relief when I work steps because, well, like I know what I'm going to get out of these things, like these questions that I'm answering. Like I know what I'm going to get out of being honest and open with my sponsor. Like I know the fruits that are going to come out of this thing. And you know, then in turn, like my sponsees, you know, caring means being available at any time for them, even when it's inconvenient. It means telling them the truth, even when they probably don't want to hear the truth. You know, and you know, that word and caring and how it kind of works out for me in the fellowship is me being of service, bro. I'm a service junkie, bro. I'm a service. I do a lot of service, and I show up for my service, and I not only show up like I throw care into that, right? And it elevates my service, like I was speaking about earlier. Like I throw a lot of love and care into my service. So then it in turn wears off on other people. The meetings are a little bit better when I see that shit happening, man. It's like how we act and how we act in these meetings really has an effect on other people. Like it doesn't matter how big or how small the meeting is, and I don't mean like me only. I'm talking about anybody. If you're listening, you go to meetings. You are of service to that meeting, even if you're not doing anything but sitting there listening. Your name and your little square being there, or you sitting in that chair at a brick and mortar, you are being of service to that meeting. You might not think you are. So, like this shit's a big deal. You know, when you throw this word into it, you know, the world around me, right? Like I don't walk past the suffering addict or somebody suffering and like ignore that shit anymore. Like that's how I care for the world, right? Like if somebody's suffering, like homeless guys, like if there's something on my heart's telling me to give that dude a quarter or a dollar or what $5, I do it. That's how I practice this thing, caring for other people and that's how I practice compassion. And at first I did it and uncomfortably just because it was like my sponsor told me to do things like that. Right now I do them just because I want to do them because I know that they feed me. They feed my spirituality and they tap me into to him every time, more and more every time, man. Every time I do something like that, especially when nobody's looking, man, I get that attaboy spiritually. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I'll pass that. I love you, man. I
I
fucking
love
love
you
you.
too.
I feel better already, man. Look, I was a dusty spud bag junior on the way in here, but
You were a
now I'm
West
not.
Virginian spud bag.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was right. Red spuds.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
Caring is love in action, not sentiment in words. How has recovery taught me to care through actions rather than just feelings? Well, you know, you really hit on it there when you said the step work. You know, they literally started the steps saying, this is the program of action, you know, like, and once you do the steps, and if you are thorough and fearless from the very start, there's no way that you're not exhibiting a greater level of self-care and care for the world. If you actually honestly, fearlessly, thoroughly do a set of steps, there is going to be some shift in your spirit. Like
Welcome
I,
home.
I really, I've never seen someone go through the steps honestly, thoroughly,
Ever,
like
ever,
and not seen some sort of profound psychic change in them.
never, never.
And you know, I could speak from my. It really brought me back home in my heart. You know, like I
Yeah.
was lost. I was lost and so lost that I was punching holes in my own lifeboat. Like, you know, like how crazy is that when
Oh,
we're that lost in fucking addiction, you know?
yeah, man.
And and another way really that's you know, come for me is expressing gratitude as an action. You know, my first sponsor taught me that. And I really, really take that to heart. I really try to care for and nurture the things inside my life that I am grateful for, and also to show myself a broader spectrum of things to be grateful for that I wasn't before in the past, you know? And and that has helped me to learn to surrender to the amazingness of other things. Part of caring for something is not wanting to change it. You know, there's one of my friends who just celebrated 48 years in the
Mm,
program. You
mm.
know, he got love, the principal love, at one of my porch meetings, and he said, "I believe that love is caring enough not to want to change something." And I thought, whoa. I'm like, you know,
That was deep.
and like, because we want to pounce all over everything, making it the way that we want it. But real love is offering that freedom for it to flower in its own way.
Sometimes you got to walk away too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, from that thing to let it do that too. That's my thought on that.
You know, whew. Yeah,
That's beautiful,
I
bro.
got
That
another
is deep,
reading.
bro.
I got
That is so
another
deep.
reading that I want to blow your mind with, but we'll do it on another podcast
My
because I'm not sure.
spinal cord is like
Yeah.
tickled right now.
But you know, like it's practicing these principles in all our affairs. What does that show? It shows that we care enough about ourselves, but also our place in the universe to be doing the right thing.
Hmm.
You know, like if we're acting honestly, compassionately, with you know, discernment and concern, those things are going to make us treat other people better. You know,
100%.
and then like caring through action. And what is sponsorship? But if it's not for that, you know, and also, you know, really just like all service. But for me, my epiphany came over the weekend in my two-way prayer when it was like, stop cherry picking my service. Like real service is doing the ones I don't want to do. When somebody like offers me something or asks, and I'm like, no, doesn't fit into today, or can't no. Like it's the you're
You do
stepping.
that?
It's the stepping on my balls service.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
the real service. Because for me to do a bunch of like chairing meetings that I like at the meetings I like, that is me cherry picking my service, and I do that. You know,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
just did a month at a meeting that I don't really like. And I was like, okay. I'm like, this is my opportunity for change. You know, like
That's beautiful.
and you know, and I'm saying something about it now because it meant something to me to make myself uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Don't be afraid of uncomfortability.
yeah.
You know, like quite often, if you're willing to go through that uncomfortability, that probably means you actually care.
It's growth. It's
Yeah,
growth.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I'm going to leave that one there. We got a
You
ton
re-
of great questions and got
I
a
already
ton of
feel
love for
better.
you, man.
A ton of love for you back, man. So, what role does caring play in your relationships today, Milan? What role does caring play in your relationships?
Well, you know, it, I mean, I kind of piggyback off that last thing,
Yeah, beautiful
but
question. Roll right into it.
caring means tolerance and acceptance as much as I can give of it, you know,
Yeah.
excuse me, because when I'm not, I'm literally telling you you're wrong. And it's really important for me to not be projecting that message to anybody now. I've seen the error in the ways that when I've done that, and now, I try not to do it, or I make a pretty damn fast amends at it. And so for me today, it means freedom for the other individual, while being supportive when they need it. It means seeing that somebody else is having a busy day and trying to do their chores when they're not looking. You know, it
Yeah.
means putting that tea beside my wife every morning so she wakes up to a hot tea in bed so that her day gets to start in a way that just gives her a moment for her to connect with her universe, because I see the importance of me connecting with mine. Yeah.
Beautiful, man. That's beautiful, man. Great answer. You ready for my answer?
Yeah.
I love you, man.
Oh, me too.
So what role does caring play in my relationships today? Well, when I think about before I got into the rooms, bro, like it really revolved on whether somebody was giving me money, a place to stay. There was that transactional relationship. That word caring. I didn't when I was doing a caring, or if I was caring for other people, it revolved around money or sex or drug. It revolved around something. It wasn't just me caring because I wanted to care about that person. And I didn't know how to love without controlling the next action. I didn't know how to love without control. I didn't know how to listen without planning my response first. Right? You think about that. Like I remember listening to people formulating my response before they would even get done talking because of that transaction at the end. Um, showing up without an angle. I didn't know how to do it. So today, caring plays a central role in how I act and how I approach all my relationships, my family. You know, um, it's made me a better son. A better brother, a better just family member in general. Um, I didn't care enough to give anybody peace of mind back then, right? I didn't know that part of this caring thing here and being a loving person meant giving my family members peace of mind, you know. So today, staying clean, doing what I'm doing, acting the way that I act today is the ultimate caring act, like action for that for my family and giving them that peace of mind that they never had. They never had, man. I used to lie, I would disappear, I break that trust. Now it means I answer the phone when my family calls me. I show up when I'm supposed to. But and not only because I should, but because I want to. That's a beautiful thing when it changes to like not having to show up because you should or need to, but because you want to. Um, I can actually talk to my family and ask them how they're doing and actually care about the answer. Bro, something as simple as that, being able to be present in a conversation with my family, was not, I didn't have that before I got here. Um, so when I make a mistake, like in my family, any kind of relationship, I make it right. I make it right. I don't just fly through it and just think that like somebody's gonna forget. I remember doing that all the time. I would just make a mistake or do something wrong or errantly, and then I would just be like, I hope they forget. Hope they forget. And eventually that person would just love me enough, like because they cared about me going into it, that like time would heal it a little bit and they would still interact with me, or they wouldn't. But I didn't care. I didn't give a shit. But again, I was sick, man. And that's why we read into this literature. I'm not responsible for the stuff I did in my disease. And that doesn't let me off the hook. But it gives me a place where I can accept myself from square one at that point, man, and be like, all right, I can actually be a better person going forward, and I'm not going to be just crucified my whole life for all that shit that I did in my disease, right? Like I can make up for it in my actions and how I live today over the long haul, right? That's where like clean time doesn't matter, but it really makes a big difference for me. It really is important to me for that reason, specifically for my family. To be able to show up to the dinner table with 3.5 years clean, the same person. right? Knowing that they haven't had to like wait by that phone at night for the phone call, that's a big deal to me. It keeps me clean. So that's my answer. I love you, man.
I love you too. And
Yeah, man.
I have a question for you.
No, you don't.
And I think it kind of goes nicely off what you just did, where you were just saying, when we care for others, we step outside the prison of self obsession. How has service helped you stay free from self centeredness in your recovery?
Yeah, man. That's God. It goes in with the whole theme here, man. Like sharing and caring and service and being of service to other people and to the fellowship. Just it has a way of taking me out of my self-centered thinking, which is at the core of what we have going on here. Like every freaking time, man. If I'm of service, even like what you were talking about, you go into service at groups that maybe you're doing it to try to get uncomfortable a little bit. Maybe it's a group that you don't fancy so much or whatever, but you're doing it because they need some service or whatever it is. But I feel better every time, man. And every time, the more uncomfortable I get, the more I feel better. It's wild. Um, it's just kind of how this whole thing works for me. The more uncomfortable, that really strong feeling of uncomfortability, that's where I'm growing the most. Like that spot right there. And so I try to sit in it, man. And when stuff happens, I, things pass, stuff passes. I don't have to take action and try to fix things immediately. Like a lot of times, time, if you're doing the right things and you let things play out like they should, people will usually shoot themselves in the foot, or whatever situation will usually take care of itself as long as you just ride it out. Um, what was your question? I'm an idiot. I'm such a dummy. I blanked completely.
How has service helped you stay free from self centeredness in long
Yeah.
term recovery? You
Yeah,
were on
yeah.
the right track to begin with. And then
I was.
you went
Yeah,
down to the
yeah,
park
yeah,
and
yeah,
walking on
yeah,
the bike
yeah.
path. You're like, yeah, man, look at the sunset.
Bro, service is beautiful, right? And then we talked about the sponsorship thing, which sponsorship is the highest form of service in this fellowship. So that's where I'm at, man. I'm in service in a lot of ways, and I know for a fact that is a big part of what keeps me clean on a daily basis. Because when I'm helping somebody out, or if I'm helping the fellowship, a meeting out, which is helping the fellowship, right? If I'm being of service or speaking at a meeting, bro, like I'm not thinking about this dude, right? I'm not in that self-centered spot, and my disease does not have a spot to do anything when I'm of service. It doesn't have any area to work. So I stay in service. But hear this, like you can over service yourself too, especially early. There's people doing that right now that I love very much, that have serviced themselves right into a relapse. They're back. We know them. But like, don't service yourself right out of this place, man. This is not, we're not here to get a full-time job in the rooms and the clock a 40-hour week here, right? So they're that's where you got to tap in with your sponsor. They'll keep you on track. They'll be able to see it from an outside perspective, looking in on like, hey, you need to bob and weave a little bit more, man. Like you're getting beat to death out there. Like you're getting punched in the face and you don't even know it. Like you just gotta like duck to the left and then hit them. So got to have people watching your back too. But that's part of you being in service gets people that invest in you, and you invest in them, and you get more friends in service. You get more friends. It's all part of the service, fellowship, community connection thing. That's my answer.
I love that. Okay, how has service helped me stay free from self centeredness in my recovery? Oof, it seriously is probably the greatest problem of an incoming addict or alcoholic is self-centeredness. Like we're so self-centered, we think we're thinking about others, and it's really just thinking about how others can help us. Like it really, and it's for me, real true blue service is still a work in progress. Like if I said that I didn't get some kind of joy from working with my sponsees, that would be a lie. Like the problem with real great service is that in the end it does feel good, you know, and so sometimes I'm not sure I can trust my motives. That it's like, am I doing it because I love it, or am I doing it because I care? And I'm honestly hoping that I care.
That's
But
wild, isn't it? To like
like,
have that like teeter totter where like you're helping your sponsee out, but you're like, bro, am I being selfish right here by helping this dude through the step work right now? Like
because
I'm
it's
actually
like inevitably I'm enjoying it and benefiting from it. So like, no matter how selfless I make it, it still has a reward. Like that is the craziest thing about service.
it's crazy, man.
But I have to say though that it is one of the only things proven to create a moment where I'm not thinking about me. Like if I'm actually caring, like love in action, about what my sponsee needs, I'm thinking about where he's at. I'm thinking about what we've done. I'm thinking about what we need to do. I'm thinking about how I can present the next step or principle in a way that fits their learning style, because I can see the glaze happen when it's not, and if I really care, I'm not just like, okay, today we do page 63 to 74, and we'll be done at 115, and that's it. Punch out. Don't care if you survive the next week. That's just not how it is. Like I have a brotherhood and a love that blossoms inside my service. And God damn it, it's like you're my brother and my child inside my sponsorship, Like I want you to live. I want you to have freedom. I want you to be happy, joyous and free. And so, you know, even even like when they get you to start doing coffee or setting up chairs at a meeting, or simply just starting to chair a meeting, what you don't realize is that every single one of those is a moment of distraction. Because odds are, if you're not thinking about doing something, like you're thinking about yourself. And that's the thing that we have to break free from, you know? And that's and that's where they talk about like a God-centered existence. We're thinking about an external power. We're thinking about guidance from that. We're thinking about doing something that's bigger than us and not for us. So, I mean, service is a massive topic, which I don't know if we've actually done a podcast on just service.
Not you and I don't think. I think you've done them with other people. We'll
I
do
don't
that
think
soon.
I've done one just on any. But anyway, that's my answer.
Selfless service we've done. We've done one on selfless service, I think,
Have
before.
we? Yeah,
I
you got
think
a
so.
better memory than me. I'm
Yeah, I
the
seen it.
absent-minded addict.
It's a picture in my mind where it was either you or us. We did one on selfless service before, but we can do
Nice.
another one.
Yeah.
Is you ready for my question?
Yeah.
All right, big dog. So, how has caring helped you heal from the wreckage of your past?
Oof. Well, first of all, I'll start with self care. I was a drinker, a drug taker, a smoker, a non sleeper, an eating shitty food and infrequently person. You know, like like self care now to me looks like attempting to get good sleep. I'm not ever probably going to be the world's greatest sleeper,
Me
but
neither.
but I definitely sleep a bunch more than I used to. I exercise like at a ridiculous level now, and that combined with the not smoking, oh my gosh, is it ever changing my life right now? And and I would say that 3 out of 4 meals I eat good meals, and then then there's the self care on my spirit. That was just neglected before, not non-existent. Like if you said the word spiritual, I was running thinking you were talking religion. Like that was it. I was like, whoa, out of here, gone. And so like now I practice those all the time. And I mean, 5 days of the week, I go to meetings, and on the 2 days that I'm not going to meetings, I'm recording podcasts, and I consider that a meeting for my soul. Like I honestly,
A
I,
super meeting.
it is even more. It's like, yeah, it's an intimate meeting, it's an intimate meeting where I feel safe and where I can explore a little deeper, where I can start to understand where my friends are coming from their answers, and also discover who I am. Because, if I got to make up all the questions, I would only learn things I want to learn. But we got Handy Andy above me here with his questions, and they pull different things out of me, and get me to look in a different way. And that diversity is the strength of perception, you know? And then caring, like, I care if I hurt you now, like I care about your well being now. I have enough external attention to actually physically do maintenance on relationships, you know,
Mhm.
and that forethought and afterthought wasn't there before. That would have just been anxiety and guilt. Shit, I'm not gonna get this done. Oh fuck, I didn't do this. Like, really,
Yeah,
like,
man.
or shit, I did that and they found out. Like that's really where it was. So, I mean, caring is coming through with, honesty and empathy for others and accountability, and also, like, understanding when I need to let someone be them. Like, that is such a thing that I just did not see the immense value of before. And nor did I see the far reaching implications of how it can negatively affect them.
Yeah,
So I think that's it for me on that one.
that was dope. Thank you for answering that. I love you, man.
Love you
Uh,
too.
how has caring helped me heal from the wreckage of my past? Well, my past was just a bunch of broken relationships and burnt bridges, hurt people. I just shattered it all down, burnt it all down. But one of the hardest things to do is to face that wreckage of my old past. Like when I think about my disease, when I think about my active disease and addiction, that's like one of the first words that comes to mind is wreckage. Complete wreckage.
Wreckage.
That's what comes to mind. So when I was able to start caring and start rebuilding from that wreckage, that word, being able to care, it rebuilt trust um, with myself and with other people. And it wasn't that I could go back and change those things. I realized that I can't change that wreckage, right? But I can start living differently, right? And I can show up every day that way, different. And that different word becomes the norm, right? Like if you show up the same way every single day, like you start showing up as that person that you want to be, right? Do a little work on yourself, showing up consistently, keeping my word, apologizing when I mess up, making amends where I could once I realized what that thing was. And I realized I can't fix everything overnight. Part of being this amends thing is staying clean every day, right? And trying to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. But it's helped me change my story, Milan. It's really helped me change my story. Like when I can care for others, I realize like I'm capable of doing that and I'm capable of receiving it and I'm worthy of receiving it. Like I'm worth people caring for me. That's what allows me to go out there and be a caring person because I know other people are caring for me and it's how the cycle works for me. When I care for myself, bro, like I realized like like I there was a point where I realized that I was worthy of recovery and this peace that we talk about, this unfamiliar peace that we want to grab onto. Because we don't know I didn't know what peace was, man. The people who were peaceful was it was an uncomfortable thing for me, man. I was so wrapped up in chaos. I was addicted to chaos. And so it allows me to show and to show myself like I am worthy of this peace that we're all looking for. And it allowed me to turn that guilt into a purpose almost, right? It allowed me to change all this guilt that I had and turn it into a purpose for life. being able to be involved in these meetings, being of service, listening to a newcomer, sharing my story, giving somebody that like Me Too moment, you know, that's when I started to kind of transform and started becoming where in my active addiction, like I remember, I had to, I had to have my drugs or I was going to get sick and ultimately withdraw, feel like I was literally going to die. And I remember when it changed to I'm no longer in need of drugs. Like I need these meetings, I need fellowship, I need to connect with my people, and that's how I'm going to stay clean long term. And that's a beautiful thing, man. It's such a beautiful thing, man. Being able to care for other people and be cared for and in a healthy way and know that you're like worthy of that shit, not be like, why is this person caring for me? What do they want out of me? Like that's the way I was all the time. And so it's so beautiful not to be there anymore, man. But it's helped me make my amends properly, right? Do it like when I was wrong, I make it right promptly now. Why? Because the steps tell me that's what I do. The steps tell me that people that have stayed clean and have been buried with their infinity chip, that's what they did. That's what I'm gonna do. I have to do that. It works, So that's my answer. I love you, man.
I love you too. There's an infinity chip you get buried with?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I never heard that.
Bro, you never heard. So look, if you're in this fellowship and you go out and you are clean when you go out, there's an infinity chip. It's an actual coin, has an infinity symbol on it, and
Whoa.
they present it to your family, and
Yeah.
your family gets your infinity chip. Sometimes they'll bury it with you, or they'll just keep it, But it's beautiful, bro. It's like a whole thing. Like when you get buried,
Cool. I love that.
yeah,
That's
man.
so cool.
And you don't have to be like clean for 30, 40, 50 years. Like if you're clean 6 months and you just something happens or you go, whatever, you go out clean. That is our ultimate goal. They say that there's no end goal in this fellowship, and it's kind of right. But I've had people spin off on it here lately of, well, there is a final destination here. There is an end goal, and that's to get that infinity chip ultimately. So
Nice. Wow.
yeah, man.
Thank you for enlightening me on that.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. Caring is not rescuing. It is walking beside someone with respect for their path. How have you learned to care without crossing into enabling?
Oh wow.
I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, but when I want to care more deeply, not less. I want to build relationships that matter. I don't want to enable anybody. So that is a tough one. Ask that question like specifically so I can get it.
Okay. How have you learned to care without crossing into enabling?
So being, love in action. I'm guilty of continuously throwing out love constantly. Um and there is a little bit of a gray area there where you can just love somebody so much that they almost think that it doesn't matter what they do or do to you, that you're going to still come with that love, and that's true. I will still love them, but their access to me will be denied at that point, right? I feel like there's certain things that people do in our lives that they warrant like no access with me for a little while, and for my own self care at that point. Like if somebody does something to me or makes me feel a certain way, or if their actions are showing me that I can't help them out in this position or whatever, like I'm just gonna deny access to them for a little while. Um, I feel like people aren't worthy of our time, and I don't mean that in a snobbish way. I just mean like they're spiritually bankrupt or whatever it is. I'm not gonna let them bring me down, and that's part of this healthy way of life today. Like the most loving thing I can do for somebody sometimes, Milan, is say no. Is to not give them what they want. Um, and that's really uncomfortable sometimes because we'll get in this hamster wheel of helping people out and saying yes, say yes to the dress. I don't know why I even said that. That's a show. Saying yes all the time, and then we end up hurting people because hurt people, and yeah, man, love is never negative, but it can be, people can take advantage of people's love. I've seen. And that's not where we want to be. I don't even know if that answered the question, man. I'm off, but
100% it did.
love you.
100%. As a friend and a sponsor, it is the hardest question to answer, man.
Yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
have you learned to care without crossing into enabling? You
Yeah.
know, like they say, 1 out of 20 people stays straight 5 years who's been in treatment. And I was with it 17 different people in treatment. And I've watched a lot of them go down. And, like the I remember the first one. I remember the first one and almost crying for 3 days, you know? And and the first thing is like what I was saying earlier about the tolerance and acceptance. Like they're not ready. They still have reservations. The best that I can do is lead by example.
Hmm.
You know, I've remained in contact with some people, honestly, a little bit too long. I feel that normalizing them using is not something I want to do around me. You know, I've come to the point now where I will simply say to people, I am living in a solution and we are not living in the same solutions right now.
Like that.
Anytime you want to become solution oriented, I'm right here because I'm not wavering in this. But I cannot watch you kill yourself in front of me. Like that's just something I cannot do. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Will I help them in crisis? Yes, and I have. Okay. So like that boundary is not like I'll let you die without a fucking phone call. Like that's not where that's at. But it's not like we're gonna chat every day when you're high as fucking drunk. Like that's just not happening. I
No.
I, I can't stand the drug or drunk alone.
What? Why
I
not?
love you, Andrew.
Why not, man?
Man,
I'll tell you what.
everybody's fucking out to get
I
me.
tell you what. I didn't tell you that story yesterday. What are you talking about?
And so it's a little bit about knowing when to cut the cord and when to be given the hug. Like I am willing to help anybody willing to try. And but part of what I've recognized that really has me slightly in a quandrum or question mark is that wanting to use even once more is a reservation. And that one is a very hard one to cope with because most people are not ready to say goodbye for the rest of their life or at least the rest of today, even. Like, if part of you still wants to use, it's really unfortunate, but that's a reservation. That is not admitting full powerlessness because somewhere inside you, you think you have the power to still use and some moment in time to be normal. So that's a really difficult one for me. And that one has come with tears and experience. And nobody could have told me how hard those moments would be and those conversations would be. And
Yeah.
nobody can live that for you. And,
Nope. Hmm.
unfortunately, as you grow inside this program, you will have sponsees, you will have friends, you will have lovers, whatever it is, you will have people in your life that aren't going to make it because the odds are that they're not going to make it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
nobody's in a fucking room of unicorns all day long.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no. That's a beautiful answer,
life
man.
gets lifey.
It does. It does. And but we get better at life
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
We get better at life, man. So how does caring connect you to the NA fellowship? How does caring connect you to the NA fellowship, Milan?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I think first of all, the care was there for me. Like that first connection was by, excuse me, the fellowship's connection to me. Like they threw out a lifeline and said, "Here we have a solution," right? And so, initially it was me, getting pulled back to the boat from with their life preserver. And now that I'm on the boat, it's me throwing that out for other people. You know, they're like, you mentioned it really briefly earlier when you were talking about that newcomer that you may or may not want to work with or whatever. Like it's about making yourself available in some way for everybody. And even if just that availability is while you're at the meeting, you're showing that person love, attention, making them feel inclusive, because otherwise, otherwise, that person's not coming back, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's a kind of a short answer, but I don't really have a whole bunch to go on that. Like, I feel that that's just the circle of connection that has been with me.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So how does caring help me connect, or excuse me, how does caring connect me to the NA fellowship? Wow. Well, you said it, man. I was cared about when I got here. And I thought it was BS. I thought it was a bunch of nonsense when I got here. And I fought it. I fought it when I got here, but people were like, "Bro, I love you. Keep coming back. Like good to see you." When I would come back to that meeting the next day, they would call me by my name, and like the look in their eyes would be of genuine like happiness, that they were happy to see me. And it wasn't that I was bringing coffee or I was bringing anything. I just brought myself. And so that was a little switch in my brain where like, hey, there's something going on here. There's something in the sauce here. I need to get my hands on whatever these guys and gals are doing, because it felt good. I mean, it's contagious. That whole, when people are caring for you, it's contagious. Um, but it created a bridge where like shame had built this wall up, and then when people started caring about me in these rooms, it built that bridge where I could break that wall, or get over that wall, get over that shameful wall that I was stuck up against. Um, but this fellowship works because of caring. Like we all care about each other. We all get it, and we all have been there. Like we all know that we're the only ones that get our own. Like it doesn't matter what you say, what do you share about, what you speak about, what you say in these meetings. We get it. Not that maybe we've gone through the exact same specific thing you have, but we know exactly where you're at. It doesn't matter where you're at. We all have been to our own hell, and that's why we all greet each other. Like we've been in that same near-death catastrophe, like it says in our books, man. A lot of things I say come straight out of the books, man, because bro, I wrote it. We wrote it about us, and so when I start thinking about these questions, answering these questions, a lot of it relates back to these words that I read in this literature, man. Like if you're having a problem relating to what's going on in these meetings, if you're having a problem connecting with your people or any kind of group, you're having a problem trying to figure out what we're doing here, read the books. Read the books, man. Read the literature. I cannot stress that enough. I don't care if you're an introvert, you're an extrovert, I don't care what kind of personality you have. If you read these books, it'll put your mental in line with what you need to do to be able to be one of us. We all have a common theme to how we get to our answers today. It's through this literature, it's through the step work, it's through this common bond that we create because we are all in the same program. It gives us an accountability factor with each other because we come in here guarded as shit, man. Like we don't trust doctors, lawyers, therapists. We just don't trust them. Most of us are completely shut off from those people because we've been trying to get over on them. We don't trust them. Whatever our problem is with them, we don't like them. And so when we come in these rooms, as we read and we come to the solutions to our problems without using drugs, it's because of the words that we read in these books. It's the work we do in the step work. And as we're all doing it, it's how we all flow together and like learn from each other and know that like, hey, I'm not just going to try what this dude is trying because he's trying it. No, I'm going to do it because He took advice from somebody else, who took advice from somebody else, who took advice from somebody else, and this shit works. Whatever it is, like, this shit works. You know, we got suggestions here. We don't pay for suggestions. We're the only suggestions we pay for the ones we don't take. Suggestions are free. You know, do you care about yourself enough to take one from time to time, to get yourself out of a jam, to get yourself out of a pickle? You know, so that's my answer. I got off on a tantrum a little bit, man, but
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Okay, so self care is not selfish. It is the foundation for our ability to care for others. How do you maintain the balance between self care and service?
great question. Caring shows up in service in all ways, right? When I'm, let's say I make coffee or set up chairs at a meeting, really it all ties back into like getting me out of my head. Like if I'm setting up chairs for a meeting and I knowing that it's all part of this higher power thing, because the group is there and was made and is bigger than me, right? So if you're having a problem trying to tap into something that's bigger than you, tap into the group being a bigger entity than you. You know, that can be, the group can be your higher power when you get there. So self-care, I mean, self-care and service, it really just goes in line with this whole theme we've been talking about. Get me out of my head. You know, when I'm wrapped up in my head, I got one side of my brain selling the best bullshit in town. The other side's consistently sitting there with his hand out, buying it with money, buying that best bullshit in town. And so the action connects me to the service. The service connects me to the fellowship. You know, I feel a part of something bigger than myself. It allows me to stay tapped into something that I think is greater than this whole thing going on. You know, Andrew, the addict, you know, becomes Andrew, the NA member, through service, you know, and service keeps me coming to a meeting when I don't want to be there. You know, it connects me in sponsorship with sponsees and my sponsor. You know, it's all service is it's what this whole thing is based on. You know, we work all these steps to work on ourselves, and we get to step 12 and we realize it has nothing to do with us. It's about being of service to other people. It's how we'll stay clean long term. So that's a quick and easy, man. Love you.
I love it. Okay, how do I maintain balance between self care and service? You know, the very first thing is staying clean. You know, like I gotta stay clean. I gotta take care of myself to make myself a vessel that can do service. You know, until like, you know, learning to say no when I know I'm getting overloaded, it helps me keep that balance, you know? And then also, just in case I'm not cheating the other way, checking my motives when I'm saying no. You know, is it saying no because it's some service I don't want to do that would actually really make a difference in someone else's life? You know, that's the thing that, you know, and then wondering to myself, am I looking for opportunities of service? You know, like you can go through a day and just be like, hey man, there really wasn't anything to do because you're not looking and actually considering the needs of others, listening to those other people, right? And then, lastly, for me on this question is my life a shambles, but my fellowship looking frickin' prim and proper? You know, like I got to clean house at home before I can clean house in my home group, you know? And, and that's the balance is taking a look at the condition of yourself and, you know, what you're servicing in life, right?
Hmm. Hey, man.
Yeah, because I mean, if I'm sitting there starving, wasting away, and doing a whole bunch of service, like how am I really going to be able to even keep
And your
helping other
wife
people?
hates you
Yeah, or she's gone. Like
because
she's
she's
just
never
like,
home.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
nice
crazy, man.
service. Nice service
Yeah,
didn't start at home.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. So here's my question. Ready?
Okay. Yep.
How do you practice? This kind of goes in line with what we've asked before, but I don't care. Right? It's all my questions. You know, I've got a
Yeah.
certain line of questions. So how do you practice caring for yourself without it becoming selfishness?
Ooh. Well, let me think about that. I think for me, it's literally almost ping pongs off the last question. It is about the balance. Like I need to have my cup a certain amount full before I'm even of the mental state to be able to externalize. Like I've said, like jerk face Milan, like when I'm tired, man, when I'm
Hate that
tired, when
dude.
I'm not fed, or when I'm not exercised, my frame of mind is so rarely capable of externalizing. Like there's that Maslow needs hierarchy, that they talk about in psychology classes, and it's like you have your primary needs. Like, if you don't have shelter and food, it's really hard for you to think about spiritual principles, you know,
Yeah, man.
and so for myself, I really need to check my motives on stuff, look at my motives, but I also need to see, like, am I resting so much I'm lazy? Am I eating so much I'm gluttony? And am I just, letting, you know, um, maybe having too many rest days from exercise? That doesn't happen, but like, let's just imagine that it was possible right now. Like right now, today I only did one walk because I didn't want to feel rushed before this podcast. And if I knew that if I did one more walk before this, I would have just come in like frazzled from not having the moments to center myself. And it didn't come without guilt. It didn't come without guilt. So, I've already made accommodations to walk more at other points today, and have a balance to that. But, I can, I think my guiltometer from being raised in the Catholic religion really keeps me from that selfishness on that self-care. Like really, because it's just like, man, I can barely budget it and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. That's dope.
Mm.
I love you, man.
Love you
So,
too.
how do I practice caring for myself without it becoming selfishness? So, I thought they were the same things before I got here, but it's absolutely not. You know, as it changed for me, it's not about this like doing whatever I desire at any point anymore. It's about protecting my recovery, honoring my body and spirit, my mind, body, and soul, and making choices that allow me to show up for others, right? It's about making choices on the front end that allow me to be there. It's not about just living my life, throwing shit up against the wall, see what sticks, and then use more just to make myself feel better because I'm not dealing with it. Like, that's how I used to live, but selfishness and addiction, man, I didn't care who I hurt as long as I got what I wanted, right? As long as I got what I wanted, it didn't matter who I hurt. That's selfishness. But as it has turned into self-care, like self-care and recovery now means like I care enough about myself so I don't hurt others. Like I that means that I care about myself is that I don't hurt others because I don't want to have to make up for my actions. I just want to do the right thing going into this thing and know that I've been doing that coming into the show. So I know I'm probably good on the back end, man. Like if I'm doing things and I'm caring about others, man, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not gonna be trying to make up for errant actions. I'm gonna be doing the right thing for the right reason, regardless of who's looking. So it's not about getting high on comfort or pleasure. It's about making sure that like I'm healthy enough to be present, living at that moment for somebody, for myself, whatever it is. It's about staying present, man. We talk a lot about that. If we're not present, we're not tapped into any kind of higher power or anything, man. If you're worrying about shit that's not going on right now, like you're lost. So, the fellowship has kept me tapped in. It's kept me tapped in. So that's that line that I've learned to walk today. Um, Practicing self care and recovery, making meetings, doing the step work, loving myself, caring enough about myself to do step work, even if it might be uncomfortable, setting boundaries. Sometimes, self care for me is not having a relationship with somebody because I know it's not gonna help me or them. You know, if I have nothing to offer a relationship, I'm not in it. I'm not in it because I have too many other relationships now. Luckily, you know, and I'm fortunate enough too that like I do have some skin in the game, and I do have um some give and take on the on what we're doing here. Like I'm not calling people 50 times and you're not calling me back. Like that's not how I do it today, man. There's got to be some give and take here, man. Like if you're a newcomer, you're a sponsee of mine. Like I understand if you're at where you're at, if I need to call you, or you need to call me a lot. Like that's different. But just in general, you know, I can't be putting all the time and effort into the relationship and not getting any in return. Like it's like I care too much about myself today to do that. So there's a balance. You talked about balance, Milan. There's a balance there. Like, am I doing this just for me, or am I doing it so I can be better for other people too? Like that's like the grand scheme thought right there. Like if what I'm getting ready to do is it going to help other people? Like, and damn sure, I hope, you know, is it going to hurt anybody? Is there an opportunity for it to hurt anybody? Because if it is, I'm not going to do it. You know, so am I avoiding responsibility, or am I just recharging my battery so I can be better tomorrow? So I got to ask myself too, man. That's that balance that I got to play. You know, am I isolating out of fear, or am I resting out of care for myself? You know, because that's part of me being able to show up like I say I'm going to show up tomorrow is me resting properly, right? You hit on that. Like the whole health, mind, body, and soul, man, it's all connected. We can't be like spiritually tapped in, mind and soul, and then your body's beat to shit. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that, man. So I love you. It's a practice for me, right? You know, I thought I had to say yes to every call, but like in every service request, kind of like you talked about, but like that's not the way it is. You'll get burned out that way. Um, that's the way I started resenting people and things like that, and that's where, you know, again, start doing step work. You'll stay out of those lanes. Love you, man. That's my answer.
I love you too, and that was a great answer. Caring is expressed in small, steady acts of kindness more than in grand gestures. Bum, bum, bum. What simple daily act of caring keeps your recovery grounded?
Um, you know, just that overall notion of like making sure I'm okay first is something that I have to be that I have to be okay with, is taking care of myself first, because I'm not going to show up for anybody else if I'm not okay. If I'm not okay. I remember there were times where I would be completely mentally shot, but trying to show up for people, and then I would ultimately hurt that other person because I wasn't showing up the way I should, and then there was some other motives at play at that point. Looking back at it, um, so caring for myself without selfishness, we kind of hit on that too, like the balance and honesty. I gotta realize where my intentions coming from, Milan. You know, my intentions, did they match my actions? Do my shoes match my walk? Does the audio match the visual? Um, and Yeah, man. What was the question? What was the question? I'm sorry.
What simple daily act of caring keeps your recovery grounded?
Prayer, prayer, man. And and that was on the back of my head too. Praying. I stay tapped in, and I care for myself enough to pray to that higher power, man. I have a very good relationship with him today. And that is the ultimate grounding tool, right? Like if I ever need to come out of the sky, if I ever need to get landing gear on, man, like I pray, bro. I pray, pray, pray. I pray until something happens. And so, prayer, being able to tap into Him, I pray every single morning, every single night, and throughout the day. Sometimes I have to pray in the middle of the day to restart my day. The Serenity Prayer is a beautiful way to restart my day at any point. Sorry, I got mentally off track. I was waiting for a package and it never came, and I'm like pissed off now. And like, I'm looking at they should have showed up, and they said they were going to be here today between 12 and 4, but then the FedEx guy just left, and there's no package on my door. Damn
Uh-oh.
it. Anyways, all good. All good.
Ooh,
Leaves in the
okay,
pool
so
problems today.
caring is expressed in small, steady acts of kindness more than in grand gestures. What simple daily act of caring keeps my recovery grounded? Well, you definitely hit the nail on the head there when you said prayer, and for me, it's developed into kind of a two-part thing, in that I'm doing the two-way prayer, and that's part of my morning every morning now since I've started. I have not missed a day, fortunately. I almost missed the day by
Proud of you, man.
absent-mindedness. Um, like I almost forgot. Like,
You came on and talked about it too. You were like, "Oh, I almost missed a day," and I was like, "You won't do that again."
uh, that's the problem. Is being absent-minded. I will do that again, but um, it's giving me a connection with the universe and a template for my day in a way that I never had before. And then it also gives me something to reflect and compare my day against. Like, did I actually listen to these answers in the prayer? And am I actually striving to move in that direction? And then what I do is when I begin my walks, I sort of do my prayer of gratitudes out loud while I'm walking, and sort of have these really miraculous connections with animals and the wildlife around me, like
Free horses.
well, the free horse, yeah, but that's in a fenced area in my field. I'm talking about, like, there are 6 bucks with like massive antlers that will come within 10 feet of me now. This bear that I was like 12
Bro,
feet
I saw
away
it on
from.
your Facebook. I saw
Yeah,
the video. I just
yeah.
watched it before we came into here. I saw the bear. I'm like, this dude is out playing with bears again. What the hell is he doing? I told him about playing with bears the other week. What are you
Like
doing?
I'm having, like, owls, bears,
Damn.
stags. Like I'm really feeling this immense
Love
connection to the universe, and to be quite honest, when I'm out there in nature and they're not seeing me as a threat, and I can like talk and communicate in some form with them, like that
That's
is
a
a
spiritual
grounding.
feeling, isn't it? Isn't
That's
that?
a grounding. That's a
I
grounding that
bet.
nothing else feels
I
like.
bet.
And then it's just like, the other day I'm going along, and what I usually do is I start the first 10 minutes listening to something, because I'm walking by people's houses when I go to the right. And so I get that part of the walk up, but when I come back and I'm by myself, I'm like, okay, now it's time to get connected. And I take them out, and like right there is these bucks, like right there,
Wow.
and they're just like, hey, and I'm like, hey guys, and then I'm like, you don't need to be afraid, man, I'm going my way, you're going yours. And they're just like, do 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 do.
That's your
And then
higher power, isn't it? Because the
yeah,
universe is your higher
yeah,
power. Like that's
yeah,
literally the universe talking to you right there.
yeah, it's
That's
crazy,
insane.
man.
That's dope.
It's a real magical start to my day. And then, when I'm out there and doing the actual out loud praying, I'm also asking for some guidance. And now, when I'm going into some tough moments, I'm also, saying a little prayer to guide me into that. So that's
That's
my
dope.
answer.
Yeah, you're a praying dude. Hey, look, good things happen to people who pray and are prayed for, Milan. I heard that a long time ago.
Mm,
So
yeah.
more prayer, more peace, more prayer, more honesty, more prayer, more solitude, more prayer, more everything. Less prayer, less peace, less prayer, less honesty, less prayer, less everything, bro. Pray.
Yeah.
Love you.
I love you too.
Is it my question?
Yeah, it is your question.
What challenges do you face in practicing caring as a spiritual principle, Milan?
Ego. My ego is my biggest challenge. As Andrew would say, my ego is not my amigo.
Let's go.
Um, yeah, and when my ego gets in the way, it's like I want to pick and choose my caring and my service, and then that really diminishes the quality and completeness of my love. So it's remaining caring even in the face of resistance, negativity, or just outright cruelty. You know, like letting an asshole make me an asshole makes me an asshole, and they win, right? And same with caring, though, is that, if my caring only comes with a string, that string's pulling me back and forth too, and that's really something that I'm trying to watch is that, it's like, am I keeping a record of wrongs? And that will control my level of caring. And so it's something that I'm trying to bring to awareness. I'm definitely still something I struggle with, but like, I listened to this speaker yesterday and today. Oh, beautiful, but his whole thing was that the greatest gift from this program is kindness. And he said the smallest amount of kindness can change lives.
And change the world.
Yeah. And and
Yeah.
and and caring is really kindness in motion. And that's
You
it.
never know how far we never know how far our reach goes, man. Do a simple
Yeah.
act of kindness, open the door, give that lady a flower. You can change their life, bro. You can change the world, man. I heard that a long time ago. It's so true. Just
Yeah.
so true. That's another part of why I'd always do the right thing at the right
Yeah.
for regardless, man. It's just a way to live better, man. So it's a better way to live. Kindness is an act. It's not a word.
Yeah.
Kindness is an act. Um, that just got me fired up there. I'm like pissed
Yeah.
off. I'm like pissed off, ready to like beat somebody up. So you want me to answer it now?
Yeah, I do.
All right. So what challenges do I face in practicing caring? Um, yeah. This is a good one. Addiction trained me to think about myself only. It was all about me. My wants, as long as I was comfortable, as long as my feelings were met. Always about me, but that's where that self-centered part comes in. But now I gotta think about other people. Practicing caring means I have to push past that self-centered instinct, right? Like that's one of the challenges. I have that self-centered instinct where, like, if something hits my hits my desk, and like immediately it's like, what about me in this situation? Like, that's like my natural instinct, and that's my challenge, is pushing through that. I'll give you an example. Like, it happened like last night. I got a sponsee that's really, really struggling, going through some of the fucking worst shit I've ever heard, man. Love you, David. Um, and he called, he's been calling me every day. We've been going on a 30-day. Like, we make sure we talk to each other every day. He calls me for 30 days. And he called me late. It was last night or night before. And I remember that instinct where I'm like, I'm tired. Like, I remember going, well, I'm tired. I don't want to talk. But then it quickly turned right into like, bro, like, I told him to call me, and it doesn't matter what time he calls me, and he needs to talk. I got to talk to him, I quickly got out of that self-centered disease thinking where I'm like, bro, I'm tired. I'll call him later. No, answer the fucking phone, man. And then there's your simple acts of kindness and service where you do answer that phone, you help each other out through that thing, and I felt so much better after it, man. He felt better, right? And we had a game plan for him. And it's just being able to push through those times where early on in recovery it was a lot harder to do that. Mentally, I'm a little more mentally, tapped in, and mentally buff, if you will, that I can push through those times now. And I know that the greater good of this thing, and like I got to answer that phone for that dude, man. And if I didn't, bro, imagine the guilt I would have felt if I didn't, or like, let's say I didn't answer the phone and he went and did something stupid, or who knows, imagine the guilt, shame, and remorse I would have felt if like I didn't. You don't even think about that. Like, in active addiction, we just didn't do it. All that guilt, shame, remorse would just layer on each other, layer it up, layer it up. You didn't do the next thing, layer it up. Shit's wild, man. Shit's wild that we just kind of go, okay, we're not dead yet. Just keep pushing through. But that's my answer, man. I love you.
I love that.
Gotta be
Okay,
vulnerable,
I've
man.
got a really good one for you here. Caring opens the door to connection. Indifference closes it. How has practicing care strengthened your sense of belonging in the fellowship?
Oh wow. Say that, the last part of it one more time.
How has practicing care strengthened your sense of belonging in the fellowship?
Bro, like, this word caring has pumped everything up to another level. And I mean that, like all these spiritual principles: compassion, empathy, love, service. Even service is a spiritual principle. Honesty, all that shit is pumped up to a different level as I learn what this word means.
Mm.
You know, when I break free of those old patterns, I was so self-absorbed, Milan, and so learning that service is what makes this whole thing tick. Has really allowed me to understand my place in life. Not only this fellowship, but life, man. Like this fellowship and my role inside of this fellowship and my service inside of these rooms has been a blueprint for how I've been able to take it outside of these rooms and be this normal, upstanding person in society, paying bills and um, abiding by the law, right? Like doing what normal people do. These normies, these aliens we talk about. But it has given me my blueprint. Like being of service to a home group has allowed me to be uncomfortable outside of the rooms in a work setting and get a new job at a doctor's office that I've never worked in a doctor's office ever before. And I've been working there over 3 years now, striving, loving it. You know, I finally have a job that I don't dread going into every single day. And so this whole thing, it stems from y'all caring enough about me to get me to come back and come back and come back and come back. And it gave me purpose. This whole thing has given me purpose, a purpose in life. You know, I have a direction that I'm going in today. I'm not just treading water, man. I'm actually have a purpose in life. And you know, part of that is showing up for other people. You know, big part of that is, you know, it's how I heal myself. Because I used to not show up for anybody. I wouldn't show up, let alone for myself, but for anybody else. So now that I can do that, it just makes me, it allows me to be proud of myself and to understand I'm doing this for the greater good of like the world, bro. This world is all moving to, we're all moving together. Like regardless, I've never met you, but we're connected. This world is all connected. Everything's moving in synergy like it should. And so, I love you, man. I love you so much. This is such a beautiful thing that we've started here. How long ago did we start this podcast, man?
10.5 months.
Not
Yeah,
even a year.
I'm gonna have to look up what the 1 year release was of all the.
I thought it was at least a year.
No,
Wow.
let me see. Give me 1 second here, because I'm interested. I actually wanted to think about this.
This has transformed my life in less than a year. This podcast, this is just such a beautiful. You talk about it being a meeting in a concentrated meeting setting. It's it's really, really given me something to look forward to in my week, man. And it has tapped me into myself, man. It's another form of self-care for me because I feel so involved and so important and so I feel just so a part of when we're doing these things, man. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And we've done one almost 170. It's crazy.
November 23rd will be the 1 year anniversary.
November, that's the day before my sister's birthday. November 23rd. That's the day before Thanksgiving.
Wow, man, we'll be past 200 by then. That'll be amazing.
God, man, that's what a month and a half, month down the
It's
road.
it's pretty much 2 months and 13 days.
Bro, I just want to say, like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. This is such a beautiful thing, man. I couldn't have seen what this was going to turn into when we started it. But I remember that first episode we did where I didn't even know what my headphones were doing.
Yeah.
And I just remember it being an issue and we had to restart it again. It was just really cool and how far we've come, man. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. I love you. I love you to death, man.
I feel like there's been a real evolution in our presentation of our hearts and our souls and where we go in these conversations. Like our ability to just be open and honest here in front of the camera is I'm really amazed at how when I listen back to any episode, I'm like, man, is there ever a lot of love in that room?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's palpable. It's palpable, bro. You can
yeah,
feel it.
yeah. Okay, were you done your answer on that one?
I was, and I only have
Okay,
one more question too. So
okay. How has practicing care strengthened my sense of belonging in the fellowship? Well, like it's built relationships, which now has given me community. You know, whether it's virtual or in person, like you're no less my brother than anybody else. Like we've just gone through so much. We've gone through so much since we met, in ups and downs and everything. And like I'm really just proud at our ability to resolve and move on as brothers. I
Yeah,
really am.
I
Like
am too.
there's so many times where we could have just taken stances, been bitches, and it could have just ruined the amazingness we have. But instead, we talked through it, we grew, we expressed each side of it from each other. Like we did the work to maintain the relationship. Like
Mhm.
anybody who says relationships aren't work is single. I'll tell you right now, there's a whole bunch of single people in the world going, relationships aren't work. No,
Shit's
man, it's
easy.
it's
I
either
got
magic or
this.
not. It's either magic or not. But and then caring, belonging in the fellowship, like being there for people, like that has made me feel like I belong because somebody needs me, and
Yeah,
I
man.
need them. Like I wouldn't be here without the care of my two sponsors and all my friends and all the people who taught me something along the way. Like, man, sometimes it's like one word in someone's share and it's just like light bulb, life changed,
Hmm.
you know? And, uh, and I've provided value in their life and they've provided value in mine, and I've learned how to care in the fellowship. And that makes me feel a sense of belonging, you know? And also, though, it's like I've learned the value of caring through service. And inevitably, any point of that service makes me feel like I belong. Like I used to watch that show Cheers when I was a little kid, and it was like people walked in, it was like Norm. Like, I'm in a meeting set up and people walk in and we're like, woo! Like we're like yelling, hey, what's shaking? Like and it's a community. Like, I mean, young Gabriel turning to me the second I walked into treatment saying, you're in the right place. 5 words that made me belong because he took a moment to care. Like, kindness is caring, and
He
caring
changed your life. He changed your life right
and
there.
caring creates a sense of belonging, you know? And
Mm,
that's what I got for that one. That's what I got. Yeah, you
that's
got time
beautiful.
for one more question?
Yeah, quick one. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So what do you want? 3 minutes each?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you,
Yeah, you're going to ask me.
how will caring continue to guide you in your recovery in the future, my man? Tell us.
Well, okay. So if caring is love in motion, one of my quests right now is learning to love more completely. My question this morning, um, was, how can I love more completely? Well, I can love more completely by keeping no record of wrongs, seeking to understand, not to be understood, listening, not to seek to be understood, seeking service in every moment. I can help the elderly and the sick. I can call the lonely. I can breathe deeply before responding. I can express love for others' qualities, and I can say them out loud to them. I can express gratitude in more frequent intervals. I can accept others as they are in their perfection, and I can let go of the rope. I can speak truth and be honest. I can love deeply and accept love. And I can not treat others like they are attacking me. I can give freedom, live freedom, and be free.
Mm,
I dropped
mm,
the damn
mm,
mic there.
Oh, is it my answer now?
Yep.
So, how will caring continue to guide me in my recovery in the future? Well, bro, like I'm gonna only continue to get better and only continue to thrive and make my life better if I can continue to care for other people and myself, right? And the isolation that I had in my addiction was so was so fucked up. You know what I mean? Um, but going forward, I want to keep caring enough to call people, check in with people, stay active in this fellowship. It's going to be my anchor going forward, really. This caring, this action of caring. But it will, you know, I want to be the kind of son, the kind of friend, the kind of father, the kind of husband, that shows up through my actions. It's not about what I say. It's about how I act. It's about what I do. It's about how I conduct myself throughout the day. And it's not about trying to change other people too. It's just really about how I act and how I live and how I care for other people is how I can inspire other people to do the same thing. It's not about telling people what to do. People ask me questions, I answer them, but it's about how I naturally care for them is how I A, feel better throughout the day, and B, know that like I'm going to do that the next time too, because it gets a little easier to care for other people and to do that when you're doing it on the front end. So, sorry, I got a phone call coming in. So yeah, it's going to protect my recovery too. It's going to be a way that I can protect and shape and mold it going forward. Because if I stop caring about meetings, about service, and about my sponsees, I'll start drifting. I'll start that drift, and that's where I have you guys to kind of help pull me back into, because we can all get drifty. I'll get drifty. So when we get drifted, we have people around us that pull us back in, man, because I'm never going to fall off that boat as long as I got guys like you around me. But it gives me a purpose. My purpose in life is not just about not using. It's about helping people, helping the newcomer, bringing somebody in, encouraging somebody, giving back what was so freely given to me, which was that love. Let us love you till you learn how to love yourself, young man. And you don't have to ever use, even if you want to, right? Like, tell me all these things when I got in here, and I really hated it at the beginning, and now I literally hear that shit just replaying in my brain throughout the day. So it's going to allow me to grow spiritually, which is something that I have to continue to do every day, is grow spiritually, keeping that spiritual connection with you, with other people. And hopefully it will leave a legacy of, so someday, down the road, people will look at me as a caring person. People will look back on my life and be like, Andrew got clean and kept himself right? He cared, he loved, he gave back, he made a difference in somebody's life and other people's lives, right? And that's the kind of legacy I want to live, So I will keep connected instead of isolated. I will shape my relationships for something long and lasting and real, and not just something on the fly. And I will protect my recovery with everything I got, bro. Staying clean must come first, man. I love you. Love you, love you,
I
love
love you too. And remember, caring is both action and the spirit of that action. And it's how freedom becomes service and how service becomes love.
That's the equation.
Tune in next episode for more recovery fun.
Love you, man.
Bye-bye, everybody. I love you. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.